24, 25, I was going to school to Lewisburg on a train. And one of them came out and stopped me one morning and said, you know the combination on that safe in the post office? I said, well, I used to. I don't know whether I'd come up with it or not. Well, he said, people that use that safe found out if you turn that knob just so far, it would lock. But you could turn it back and unlock it.
Oh,
That's the way they kept it. They did it over.
one
far enough
movement
to
there.
lock it. And then it's still not so far, but they knew how to turn it backwards then and unlock it. And they said somebody turned that too far
Spun it around.
and messed it up.
Oh, he locked it for good, didn't he?
We can't get in. They'd taken over the post office and they couldn't get into the safe where they kept all their stamps and their money orders
Yeah.
for the post office.
They thought maybe you remembered the combination.
See, Lee was postmaster for several years,
Uh-huh.
and every time I would have vacation up at school, if I was going to college, I'd take over the post office and let him go out to fish and hunt for a while. And so I got pretty well acquainted with the thing. And so I said, let me think about it for a few hours. I come by and I said, sometimes you take hold of a combination like that, so the numbers come back to you when you start fooling with it.
Uh-huh.
And so I went by one day or two after that, and tried it. First time I didn't do any good. I said, let me think a minute. And I tried it again, and I got it open that time. So they wrote down the combination. Put it in their billfolds. They said, we're going to try to take care of it.
I'll show you a picture. This is Paul Champlin wrote a history of Muhlenberg County. And you just mentioned Lee Wood, is that right? Well, I think that's a picture there of
That's Lee and Harley.
there in Penrod.
Harley was the mail carrier.
Yeah, Harley carried the mail. Harley McMillan.
And that's Alex Bauer and his wife, isn't it?
Alex Mallory. Well, that's what it says there. I don't know who the.
Yeah, that's Alex Bauer and his wife. They had a blacksmith shop right behind your grandpa Jimmy, and about as far from his back door to Alex blacksmith shop as is from here to that house across the street.
Oh.
And I spent most of my time in my 4 and 5, 6-year-old down at the post office playing on Dad's platform. He had a platform that came out from his store and went about that close to the end of the ties on the railroad.
Uh-huh.
And he would go down the platform and then turn off. There was a little path that went up the side of the railroad up to the depot.
Uh-huh.
And then there was a walkway across the railroad and go on up to the hill to let them. It was Matherly and Kirkpatrick,
Yes, sir.
yeah, in those days, the big store down
Yeah.
there. And so
Wilson, do you remember across the railroad track there at Penrod ever being something like a boarding house or rooming house across the track from the depot there? Ray Crittenden at Greenville said he had some kinfolks that had a business, some kind of a business there across the track.
across the tracks from the depot.
Yeah, kind of like a rooming house or a boarding house or something like that. Of course, I didn't remember anything about it.
The only boarding house I ever saw at Penrod was, you know what boarding cars on an extra gang on a railroad is? They have 2 or 3 cars made into kitchens and bedrooms,
Yeah,
and they hook them together, and when they've got a job of work that's gonna involve several days,
Mm-hmm.
they had a gang, local gang,
mhm,
that kept the railroad so many miles.
yeah,
Yeah.
They started from Twin Tunnels, and they kept the railroad up from there to the Tennessee line.
mhm,
But if they had a big job, they'd bring in their boarding cars and park them there behind the depot on there was a track right behind the depot that went all the way to Old Mud River Mines.
uh-huh,
And they'd park them back there, and that's where the boarding cars stayed.
Some of that old road bed's still there now.
And,
they made a wire there at Penrod, the railroad company did.
what?
Do you remember that?
What?
Where they could turn the train around if they wanted to.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they had a wire,
they could go down the Mud River Union track,
yeah,
down below, a little below where Uncle Louis had a mill.
yeah,
And then it turned and came back to the main line
uh-huh,
down there about just before you got to the railroad bridge.
mhm,
And the train could come down there, and he could back in one place, go forward the other place, and get the whole train turned around.
yeah,
It was the only
Turn
place
around,
the train could turn around between Central City and Russellville.
uh-huh.
Who told you that?
Yeah, somebody is, let's see, that boy's got that now, that land in there where, Mr. Andy McElwain used to have his store. Mr. Andy McElwain, you know, used to have a store down there on it. And he moved some dirt in there. He moved some dirt in there and cleaned it up in there. It looks pretty good. Have you been down there recently? You been down to Don? Or
Not the last few weeks, no.
well, you know, he moved some dirt off the track there down there where the trestle was, and I don't know what he done with it, but anyway, he moved it and cleaned up in there some, good bit of it in there.
Yeah, well, Donald inherited a little farm down there across the creek.
Yeah, yeah, he got a Ford down there,
Yeah,
and Benny's got a bridge down to his place.
yeah,
Benny bought him a bridge.
yeah. When I found that out, I went down there and I said, I've got to see that bridge. He took me up there and let me walk across it. You know, I lived there, well, from the time I was about 7 years old
Mm-hmm.
till I was 19 when I left home.
Mm-hmm.
And those years you had to cross the creek on either a row of rocks that had been laid in the creek or a tree
Mm-hmm.
foot log that had been cut across the creek.
Yeah.
And that foot log, we used it for years. We've had a big heavy wire running from a tree
Mm-hmm.
on that side over to a tree on this side. People that had a tendency to lose their balance would
Yeah, so you'd
that
hold on
wire.
to, that was your railing, so you could hold on, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lee and Sue Grace tried it out one time.
Yeah.
Lee'd been hunting and had his hunting going on full of shotgun shells and squirrels or rabbits. And he started across there and his foot slipped or something and he lost his balance. And he went into the creek. Sue Grace said he went out of sight. But he didn't lose his shotgun. He held on that shotgun. He said the shotgun never did go under.
Yeah. He held it out of the water.
But he held on to the wire with one hand and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and managed to wade or get back to one of the banks and get out.
Uh-huh.
And if that water, he'd really been in trouble, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, we had,
Way back under. But anyway, big branch, and water got up, well, you had to cross that branch, and they put a log across there. They didn't put us anything to hold to. I told them if anybody fell in, they'd drowned if they'd been swift. But they cut a tree and put a,
are you talking about Penrod or
Gus,
Gus?
going to hunt school from out of Gus, you know. We went up through the woods there.
Yeah, that's before you moved to Beach Creek.
Yeah, Yeah,
Well, you lived, did you know, you boarded with Aunt Mary and Uncle Zil there?
Yeah, I boarded, Uncle Joe was already dead. I boarded with Aunt Mary. See, when Grandma died, well, I'll have to back up a little more. You know, Grandma was a Williams, and she married Hughes. I'm ashamed to tell it, but it's the same family that advertised it all the time, trying to get somebody to sue somebody.
Oh, Marshall Hughes, he was a great-grandson, I guess, or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was Russell Hughes' son, I think.
He was Cisco's grandson, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. I think that's right.
Well, he's some kind of a descendant of Cisco. Well, Cisco was a country school teacher. He taught practically all over the country before he became county superintendent. I went to school with him.
I know where he's buried. He's buried over in front of my house. He and Russell too. Russell buried over there.
I went to school with him when I was in the 6th grade,
Yeah.
and then he hired me to teach country school when I got 19 years old.
Yeah.
Now that's when you taught at Hunt?
No, I first taught at Price's Bridge. You know where Price's Bridge is? He's
No.
pretty lost, isn't he?
No, I don't know where it is either.
I know where that Hunt school is, but that's
Half Bancroft Road. Back his side of where Spencer Prowse lived, the
Yeah, I know where-
schoolhouse on the left here, right on that is Prowse.
Yeah, Spencer Price, he built his house very close to the bridge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
About as far as from here over to that house, from where the old house stood.
Mm-hmm.
The old house, I boarded there when Spencer was 17 years old. He had two brothers, he was a little younger than he was. That was 26,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to keep up with the dates.
26 is when we moved to Beach Creek Junction,
Yeah.
1926. Well, you know Spencer Prowse died not too long ago,
Yeah.
and he got a rail fence out in front of his yard. And I'm pretty sure that Spencer split them rails himself,
I
made them
expect so.
rails.
I expect so.
And his wife died not too long ago, too. Yeah,
He has one daughter living in the old house down there.
yeah.
Somebody told me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I don't remember anything about the old house, but we used to sell him fuel a long time ago when it started, back in the 30s, selling fuel for the farm. And I knew him from then on. He had two girls. I don't know where they are now.
Well, one of them lives in the old house and the other one lives in Virginia.
Do.
I have the addresses and names of addresses of both of them, but
Yeah.
I never have written to them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I got their names and addresses from a fellow that grew up at Graham. He used to play basketball up at Western.
Uh-huh.
You know him, I guess.
Who was he? Do you know his name?
Well, I'll think of it about the time I go to bed tonight.
And I'll tell you tomorrow.
that's right.
I get to try and tell something and can't think of it. I said, well, I'll tell you next week.
That Lee Wood in that picture though, your father was Daniel Wood, is that right?
Yeah, Uncle Daniel.
But that fellow in that picture on the top left there, he was the postmaster before your dad, is that right? That top left picture there, yeah.
That top left picture is,
That's your uncle?
no, my brother.
That's your brother?
Lee.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
His name was Daniel too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They called him Dan. My father was Daniel Wood, and I don't know that he had any other name. He just signed his name D. Wood.
What?
Lee signed his name DL, because he was named Daniel Lee. Daniel for his dad and Lee for his mother.
Oh.
His mother's name was Annie Lee. But that's not his father and mother there. That's
Oh,
his
no,
wife and
right.
his wife.
Well, now you were telling me a story about my grandfather Jimmy, about you being, your dad was a postmaster and you were almost born in the post office. What was that story?
I had two playgrounds. A platform down at Dad's post office, or Alex Mallory's blacksmith shop. I love to go over there and watch him work on it.
Mm.
He'd have a piece of metal red hot, you know, and start hammering on it and sparks would fly, you know.
Yeah.
That was a big fun to go over there and watch him hammer on a piece of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Were you almost born in that post office? Is that what you said that?
Yeah, I was born, you know, you didn't know where the Baptist church was.
No, I know where that church is now, and they got another little building right next to it.
But right there-
Little activities building there right next to the church.
But also, right in front of the activity building, there's a little parking lot.
Yes.
That's where my house was. My mother could dress me up, push me out the front door in 2 jumps. I could be climbing the steps up to the church. I won all the prizes for attending. But I was there every Sunday.
My ancestor, Jimmy Anderson, was down the hill from you. Is that right?
Yeah. I went down the hill and I either passed one house and his was the next house, or his was the first house, and I'm not sure. I can't remember seeing him, but at one time,
What was that?
I was down there, of course, lots of times, I guess, when I was 4 or 5 years old, but I remember definitely seeing him one time. People then used to get their water in a water bucket, set the water bucket on a shelf on the back porch.
Right. The
And
dipper
it
is.
had a dipper in the water bucket. And I was down there one day fooling around and talking to him,
Uh-huh.
and he went to the water bucket and got him a dipper of water, and his hands went like that, you know.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
He splashed it all out on himself. He didn't get much more than about that much of that dipper of water into his mouth. He got a little bit.
Yeah.
And that impressed me, you know. I couldn't understand why he'd shaped like that, you know.
Yeah.
And you probably have known some other old
Yeah.
people that had those, I think they call it Parkinson's disease, don't they?
Probably so.
Uh-huh.
This is the same man that had the bullet in his hip from the Civil War. Is that right?
He's the one that had the bullet in the hip, or said, by grannies, I'll bet I was the one that shot that.
What was that story? It was 2 men sitting on the porch.
Yeah, they were sitting on the porch. I'd go down there and listen to those old men tell stories, you know.
Yeah.
Have a good time out. And I was just fooling around with all ears, you know, up listening. And I would guess I heard some cussing and stuff. But if I tried one on for size back at home, I got in trouble though.
Yeah.
We had a relative that was a pretty good cusser, and every once in a while we'd whole family go over there and visit those. And my mother found out that we were running with his boys, learning to chew tobacco and cuss. That was the last time we ever visited.
Bad example, huh?
Well, I was down on the porch, hearing this story, and one of those fellas, they were talking about something about the war, and one of them says, I fit in the Battle of Jericho.
Jericho or
Granny, I fit in the Battle of Jericho too.
Shiloh or Jericho? Shiloh? Was the Battle of Shiloh?
Shiloh.
Shi-
Where'd I get Jericho in?
You've been reading your Bible a lot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fit in the Battle of Shiloh. That was a very bloody battle. Back in those days, they didn't have trenches to hide in and shoot out from. They just stood up and shot at each other.
Yeah.
So, not very many of them left on one side, and then they'd either surrender or run off.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about the Battle of Shiloh, and the first one that brought the subject up said, I'm still carrying a mini ball in my hip, but I got that at that battle. And the other said, by grannies, I'll bet you I was the one that shot it. They were on different sides. One of them was the Union, one of them was Confederate. And I think somebody told me that it was your Uncle Jimmy, your grandfather, that was the one that was on the Confederate side. A good many people, see, we were close to the Tennessee line. A lot of the Tennesseans went to the Confederate side. And some of the kinfolks, people knew or ran with, did the same thing. Even though they lived over on Muhlenberg County, we had several men that joined the Confederate Army. There wasn't any, that wasn't a bad thing to do, because the Confederates, they were trying to save the Union
Mm-hmm.
by keeping the country from breaking up into slavery section and a free section.
Yeah.
And they weren't so interested in, they weren't that interested in slavery. In fact, most of the people around home didn't have very many slaves, probably one or two. Most of the slaves had were in places where their farms were larger and they raised a lot more crops to be cultivated and gathered. So a lot of people joined the Confederate Army because they knew somebody that did,
Mm-hmm.
or they thought it was nice to try to save the Union, keep it from breaking up.
Yeah.
The ones on the Union side, they weren't so concerned about the Union or slavery, either one. They were not fighting just to keep slavery either. They both claimed to be fighting to save the Union.
Yeah.
And see what happened there for a period of our history. Every time a new state would come into the Union, the question would come up whether it would come in on the slave side or the Union side.
Oh. Uh-huh.
And a big argument would start. And one state, whatever the state said, the politicians at Franklin would guide that state. And one time when Kentucky came in, somebody decided that Kentucky would come in on the Union side, even though a lot of boys had already gone in on the Confederate side.
Yeah.
But that went on till, you know what stopped it. California was going to be the biggest state in the Union. And when it was coming in, the fight really got big. Will it come in Union or come in slave?
Mm-hmm.
And that was what finally decided it. Because California, large enough that it would have a lot more congressmen than
Yeah.
states like Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So that decided it when California came in. So after that, it was just the Union against the Confederacy.
Uh-huh.
And they fought for 4 years before they wore themselves out and finally had to quit.
Mm-hmm.
But the strangest thing about that story about the two old men laughing about how funny it would be if one of them could prove that he shot the other.
Yeah.
And then they were friends.
Yeah, good friend. Just slapped their legs and laughed how funny it would be if they could prove that. Neither one of them had any idea that they could prove it, but the idea was good,
Yeah.
interesting, funny. And years later, I was about 5 years old when that happened, maybe 6.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, when I was in college up at Western, I had a job that gave me a bedroom and meals at the cafeteria. And I was sitting on the back porch of that, if you've ever been up at Western, you know that right below Cherry Hall, there's a little log house. They may call it the faculty house, or the log house,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But it was where all the clubs and sororities met when, back in my day. It was the meeting place for all the clubs. And I had a roommate up there. There was a stairway went up there beside the TV and up on a big balcony. And then there was a bedroom back here, pretty good sized bedroom. And the boy that had the job of being the janitor, cleaning the house, he had a bed over one side, and I got a bed on the other side, because I was running the storeroom in the dormitory. And I had really a nicer job than he did.
Uh-huh.
All I had to do is, every time the cook said, I've got to have a bag of flour, or I've got to have half a bag of meal, or I've got to have a box of beans, or a bag of beans, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'd take it out to him, and I had a big loose leaf book with a page in it for every item I had in the storeroom. And I kept it just like you keep the stubby checkbook.
Yeah.
And when I take that book over, Miss Snyder was the bursar, and she had an assistant that had to make out all the monthly reports. They got so excited about how I fixed it up, so nicer than so much nicer. Used to be, the fellow kept the storeroom, he'd just say, Don got a bag of flour, and put it on a little scrap of paper and put it on a stick file.
Yeah.
And they'd get a stick file and little scraps of paper. But I had it in a book in the page in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept the book. So I talked to him to giving me $10 a month spending money in addition to my meals.
Well, that's good.
So I had it made. I was living like a king.
That's a lot of money then.
So I was sitting out there on that back porch one day with my feet up, and over on the other end, there was a woman taught mathematics that was the hostess of the house, the official hostess of the house. You had to see her if you wanted to use the house for a club meeting or something.
Uh-huh.
And she was math teacher. She was in the math department, and she was from Tennessee, and she had a younger brother that came up there visiting her one time, and he was about my age, and he and I were sitting out there on that back porch with the feet up on the banister, telling tales and talking. And I don't know how the Civil War got into it, but one of us mentioned something about the Civil War. And the other one kind of took it up, and didn't agree with him what he said.
Uh-huh.
And then it passed back and forth there 2 or 3 times, and then we began to get a little temper raised.
Uh-oh.
And if I'd have pushed it, we'd have had a fight right there on the back porch with the lady that we was visiting.
Good, Ed, good.
But I said, why, he's just a blankety-blank fool. And I didn't answer him the last time he said anything. I just talked about something else, or turned around, or got up and left. I don't know which. But anyhow, that compare what we did, what those 2 old men did that had been in the war and fought in the war, and one of them might have shot the other one.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a inch or a speck of animosity or anger about either one of them. They had long since, I guess, decided the whole war was a mistake, and
Yeah.
they were darn fools to get mixed up in it, and it was sort of a big joke.
Mm-hmm.
So they just laughed it off, just having a good time laughing about it. And here we were going to fight about it. How many years later? I was about 6, and I was about Mm, I guess I was 22 or 3 years old when that happened on the back porch.
20 years later.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember that dual man after we had our little spat. It came back to me. I'd long since, I guess, forgotten it.
That's when you remember.
I'd forgotten which one was Union and which one was Confederate. Till
But they were opposite sides during the war then.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did, there was a depot just down from his house, is that right?
Right.
From your house down the hill was Grandpa Jimmy's house, and was there a depot station right there on the track?
Well, if you went down the platform, the front porch of my father's store and post office, you'd be on the railroad track. And when we went anywhere in that part of town, we'd go down off the platform and take the little path right along to the side of the railroad track down to the depot and cross the railroad down there, and then go on up to wherever we wanted to go.
Do you know if they had a telegraph office in that,
No,
where they operated a telegraph?
they never had a telegraph.
Well, Paul was thinking that, you know, Leonard, that you worked for at the teacherage in Hugheskirk, that when he was a young boy, we were told that he was taught how to use a telegraph in Penrod and stayed in the house where Grandpa Jimmy was living. That's what we were understanding, that he was learning how to use a telegraph in that little
Who was telling you
depot.
that?
Paul was, my grandfather Harry was told that his father was taught how to use a telegraph in the Penrod depot there.
He was just a boy.
It'd been about 15. No, been right the time you were.
He'd been earlier than that.
It'd been about 07, 08.
I don't know who was the depot agent, but Dad was always trying to learn something new. So he wanted to learn how to do this telegraph work that they're doing. You know where I don't know, you hit that
Everyone
button.
in the country wanted to be a
Yeah,
telegraph.
well, whoever was the depot agent let him come and fool with that and so on, and he stayed. I don't know how long he fooled with it, I don't remember, but he learned how to do it when he was just a boy. He was about 13, 14, 15 years old, something like that.
You're back before my time now.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm just telling you, that's what they was doing then.
And
And I think he stayed at Grandpa Jimmy's while he was out there. You know, of course, it's 6 miles out to the farm where Grandpa was. So I guess he stayed with Grandpa Jimmy.
where was your mother staying at that time?
My mother, she was stayed with Uncle Zell and Aunt Mary. They raised her. She was Grandpa Abner Wood's daughter.
Yeah, I know.
And when she was 2 years old, and her mother was going to have another baby, and it was a little boy, and they both died in childbirth. Her mother and this baby.
And that was Betty
That was my mother's mother,
Saloni.
Betty, and then Uncle Zell and Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary was she was a sister to Grandpa Abner. So Grandpa Abner let Aunt Mary take her and keep her, and she just and for a while I suppose
You know who Abner married, didn't you?
Well, he married a cousin, Betty.
Yeah, that was Pony's sister.
Yeah, she was. But anyway, and then Uncle Zell and Aunt Mary raised her. She never did go back to Grandpa Abner. But they never did adopt her.
Well, he pretty soon married another woman
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I forgot
another
that. He married about 3 times, 3 or 4.
4 times.
I know it's
I've already
like
heard of a man married 3 times, he died a pauper. Uncle Abner almost made it.
Yeah, there's a big different thing. I got all the pictures at home of all of them.
Well, I've got some I brought with me
The
after.
reason I asked you where your mother was at the time you were talking about when your father was trying to learn telegraphy, I have a sneaking idea that Aunt Mary lent her to my father for a month or two to stay at our house when Lee was born,
Uh-huh.
and then maybe again when I was born. But I think she would have told me if she had been staying at my house when I was born. I think
Yeah.
she would, because I lived in the house with her, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was help keeping house while you had a baby in the house? Demi was helping keep the house? Is that what you mean? Is that the reason she came?
Yeah. In those days, when a girl got through grade school, and got kind of courted a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about what had happened if she married, well, she didn't have any clothes fit to get married in.
Uh-huh.
She didn't have any money. She didn't have any way of making a living herself. And so she would hire out to somebody that needed a housekeeper for 2 or 3 months,
Oh.
buy her some wedding clothes and get married.
Yeah.
She married your daddy
Yeah,
when they were both children.
she never did tell us that.
How did he ever tell you how old he was when he married?
Yeah, he was, he's, well, I can figure he's born in 93 and married in 1912. He's 17, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he. Mother was older than he was. Mother was born in 1891. She's 2 years older than Dad.
And there's a possibility
Yeah.
that she
I've
was.
got cards there at home, Wilson, and you know where Aunt Mary lived, and you know where Gus was, and you know where the path was, where we went through the woods.
Yeah.
Where Mother would write Dad a card and take it to Gus and mail it in the mail. When I said to somebody she could have went to the house as quick as she went to Gus. She went out to Grandpa's house, but she mailed them cards, a penny postcard.
Back to Uncle Abner.
Yeah.
He married again, and he had Bertha and Ada and another one or two.
Uh-huh.
Then he married again, and he had Carl and Herbert and
Ellis.
Ellis.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like there was another one.
I don't remember the other one. I can't think who it was.
Now the sisters to Demi were Betty and Florence and who were?
Yeah.
Florence had married Clark. Florence Clark.
Yeah, George Clark. She had a sister married
Ellen-
Toomey.
Ellen Toomey.
Yeah, and then let's see.
Ellen Toomey was Snow Count. They were so poor.
He wasn't too industrious, was
They'd get on starvation, and Dad would let them. We at that time had 2 sharecropper houses on the first farm we moved to.
he? Uh-huh.
Dad had let him move into one of those houses, put up with him for a year or 2, and then he'd tell him he's got to find another place, and he'd move somewhere else.
He didn't do no good.
Gertrude told my mother one time, said, we don't have a thing in our house to eat but cornbread and sorghum molasses
Mm-hmm.
and a little coffee. They had, you had to have something to mix with some of that grease gravy. You know what
Oh,
grease
yeah.
gravy was?
Yeah, that's white gravy made. Yeah, made white gravy with, I guess, with Utah puppy.
Grease. What kind of grease did you use to bake it?
Well, we didn't use no grease. We used white flour. This is flour.
It's the cheapest compound lard that you could buy.
Was that it? I
And
didn't
it was-
know.
It was a combination of.
I don't remember us buying any lard or anything like that. I think we raised our own.
Well,
I'm sorry, I guess he's too lazy to raise the pigs, and he didn't have any lard.
no, No, Alan didn't have any pigs, nor any larvae, he didn't have any calves to make any fat to go in.
Yeah.
Oh,
They'd buy a little, he'd sell a possum hide occasionally. He had the best hunting dog I ever saw.
yeah.
And, in the wintertime, they'd eat pretty well. They had lots of rabbits to eat, possums to eat.
Yeah. Groundhog, we used to eat groundhog.
Yeah. Turtles out of the creek.
Yeah.
Turtles good eating, good,
Yeah.
good turtle. And,
They ever catch any fish, you reckon?
yeah, he wants to go out, he'd catch the fish. There was a hole, there was a bluff back of the barn at that house. And there was a hole in that bluff about that big,
Uh-huh.
and it went back about that far.
Uh-huh.
And Alan had a little old red dog. And when he jumped a rabbit, instead of howling and screaming and carrying on and having fits, he just walked fast and smelled the rabbit tracks, keep on his track and walk fast.
Uh-huh.
Rabbit would go sailing off somewhere, you know, and find a bush. He'd sit down on that bush and think he was lost. He got away from the dog. First thing he'd know, that little old red dog was just about to grab him. And he'd jump up and tear off again. And about the third time he did that, he knew where that hole in that bluff was, and he'd head for that. And he'd go in that, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Old Alan would reach in there. I always thought how funny it'd be if he reached in out on a polecat or something.
Yeah.
But he'd reach in there and get that rabbit and pull him out and whack him against a tree and go and take him to the house and skin him and cut him up. Then have some fresh meat.
Mr. Wood, could I take a picture of Joseph with you? My dad is going to take him out to play somewhere, but I wanted to take a picture of him with you before he goes.
Okay?
Joey, why don't you go over and sit on the couch for a second next to Mr. Wood, and I want to take your picture with you. That'd be all right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh,
Y'all make good buddies.
you guys,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, they're a good buddy.
Let me take another picture. You weren't. I don't think you were smiling, were you? Were you smiling? You gonna smile for me this time?
Laugh out loud for him.
That boy's got to go. He's got a lot of energy.
He's got a lot of energy. I'm gonna let him go. We'll talk some more after he goes. Joey, get your coat.
Who is it?
Yeah, he knows how to get there.
A lot of activity.
I want to tell you one more story about Alan.
Yeah, all right.
You know, you ever hear of Ham Smith?
Oh, yeah, I knew him.
Ham Smith, you know, bought Grandpa Wood's farm
Uh-huh.
after Grandpa sold out. And Alan, he was a good workman, just worked by the day.
Uh-huh.
And he worked, his regular price was $1 a day in his dinner.
Uh-huh.
$1 in his dinner, that was the standard price for a farmhand. And so Ham would hire Alan to help him put up hay in the summertime. Putting up hay is a pretty dirty job, because you get that grass seed down the back of your neck and you get to sweating and get hot. You know.
Yeah.
So every time Ham was putting up hay, he'd hire Alan. And the price for putting up hay was $2 in your dinner. And I don't know whether Ham paid him $2 or not, but we did. And anyhow, Ham said, "You can hire that Alan to me, help you put up hay. You can work him from daylight all day till dinner, 12 o'clock. You come in and you feed him all the fat back and the turnip greens and the sow belly that he could eat and cornbread." He said, "You go back with Alan to work that afternoon, you got to get up on a stump to get a fresh air." Yeah, he mentioned sweet taters too.
Yeah.
Get off on the stump to get a fresh breath of air.
No, they.
Paul, can you sit on the couch? I've got some pictures in this computer here I was gonna let you and Mr. Wood look at the same time, and maybe you could tell me some things about them. I'll set it on this,
What about me just sit in this chair, this side?
oh yeah, sit right there in
Would
front
that
of
be
you.
all right? Is that all right if I move the chair right over where Wilson?
That'd be just fine.
Well, you can put your chair right there if you want.
Yeah, sit right there, next.
See,
I hear,
You see the pictures right there.
yeah, I hear out of my right ear better than I do it. Is that all right right there?
Yeah,
I
that-
don't wanna hit the table and go down the kitchen. It's hard. I'm a little bit too close, ain't
I got all kinds of pictures in this thing. I have to get it started. I tell you, there's the picture I told you I'd bring while that's getting started that you'll recognize in this book. There's a Penrod. There's a belt right here. I think I told you I had a picture of the Hughes Kirk school band. I believe that's your wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
And
it? That's Irma.
I didn't know what year that picture was made, though. It doesn't say. There's
31.
a tall fella, Paul knew, May, J.T. May, is that who you
Yeah.
said it was, Paul?
Yeah, that's J.T. May in the back.
It's the back down here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. He was superintendent. Yeah, I don't know these people.
Well, let's see, Margaret Case is there, in there somewhere, isn't she?
She's next to his wife,
Is she? She's right next to Irma.
Margaret. She's playing the
Yeah.
saxophone
Yeah, that was.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a bunch of,
That picture I gave Donald to take you is a picture that was made of the senior class, the
uh-huh.
first year Irma taught there.
Mhm.
About the same time this picture's made. I don't know who that fellow is there.
Let's see, who was this man that, I can't say, I can't even.
That's, well, I can't tell where they got it. 'Cause he's on the front row. See, it's F. McDowell, then Laura Green, Thomas Jenkins, then there's Billy the Armin, and Reverend George Wood. George S. Wood is who that is.
Yeah, that was a preacher. He wasn't any kin to me, but he was preaching in Drexboro. He married Irma and me.
Oh, is that right?
We stood on, he lived in the parsonage at Drexboro, 35, we went down there and stood on his front porch while he married us.
Uh-huh.
In 35.
Taught school all day, got out of school, they let us out at noon.
Uh-huh.
That's how much they were concerned about our happiness.
Uh-huh.
They let us out at noon so we'd have time to dress and get down to George's.
Yeah.
And that's George Wood, man. And I guess that's another teacher I don't know. And that one might be too.
You know, I had a picture, you may have it on there,
I do, I got them all on there.
of a bunch of teachers, but you weren't in it, and it was, Irma was in it, it's just a photograph. You know, just a small picture.
I don't suppose you played with the computer too much?
No,
No? Well, I got a lot of pictures in
they're
here.
off limits as far as I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get interested in them,
I
because I
don't
never
blame,
learned to use them.
I don't blame you a bit.
I
know,
rarely
you know, I
learned.
told her one thing I wasn't gonna try to learn is that stuff there and the metric system.
Yeah.
The metric system, I don't even try to learn it.
No, don't blame me. Don't need to. I've got to know it, or I wouldn't be able to work. I couldn't earn a paycheck unless I knew how to. Look at all these pictures in here. I'm gonna find that picture you was talking about there, Paul. About the, let me find it. I'll make it real big so you can see it. There's a picture of the teachers in the school. There they are, right there. All right. Let's see, right here.
It's 1930. It's Leonard. Now, I don't know who all the teachers are there. That was the
That's
faculty.
Monroe Major. This Raleigh Latham right here, and that's Raleigh's wife. What was his wife's name? Do you remember, Wilson? Raleigh Latham's wife?
Mhm.
I can't think what her name was.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah. Leonard, I recognize him, but Raleigh, of course, he was the first cousin of mine. That's his wife, you say?
I think he is. I forgot what her name was. And
Raleigh.
that next one there is Monroe Majors. You
Yeah, he
remember
was-
Monroe Majors,
Yeah, he was the principal of the school.
sir?
He was the principal at that time.
Yeah. Anyway, he's good. He's a good fellow. And
You know, I had classes with him. He was still there when I started school. And I don't know whether that's his wife or not. I guess it is.
I forgot who that is.
He has a hand on her shoulder.
Yeah. I guess your wife's not in this. You all weren't teaching in 30, were you?
No.
No. I don't know. What house is that back there, Paul? What building is that? Do you know what that was?
That's the old building. That's the old youth school building.
That's the school?
That's the old wooden building. That's the old wooden building. It's where they tore it
They built
down.
a gymnasium then in front of it.
Yeah.
I got
And-
another
and-
picture in here. Let me see if I can find it. I got another one.
There was on this. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna find that other. There was another picture
Well,
of the.
they you know they built that stucco building on attached it to the wooden building.
Yeah.
Made a walkway or something. There.
Well, there you go. There's a picture of the. Paul, it's the teachers. I guess that's the building. back
Yeah, that's over to teachers. And that's a 28 Chevrolet. Brand new one. They had got a new one. That's me there with that must have been. Yeah, I don't know. The car wasn't very old.
33, it says.
Yeah, that's what we think it was.
That was year I graduated from school.
I'm gonna see if I've got some other pictures from that same time there. I know we got a picture of the some of them playing basketball.
Yeah, that was out in front of the house there. You know, before we even got a gym, we played basketball out there. And here's Tom and Raymond's building right there where they put the car, if I'm not mistaken. They put it in there at night, then you know, and get on the train, go to Russellville. Then next morning they come back down there and get in the car be there, and they drive to Beach Creek.
Tom and Raymond who?
Patrick.
Oh, they own the mine, right?
Yeah, they own Beach Creek Coal
Yeah,
Company. Yeah.
Mr. Lewis owned Kirk's, and Raymond owned Beach Creek.
Mm-hmm.
At the time that I knew him. Mr. Lewis had a lot of fun and foolishness about him. And I rode generally in the smoking car, and they generally rode in the part of the smoking car. So I rode back and forth. I gone on Penrod and rode to Hugheskirk. They started at Russellville and rode all the way down. They'd get off the train and unlock the garage door, and get in their cars, and Mr. Lewis would stop off at Kirk's, and Raymond would go on down to Beach Creek. Mr. Lewis one time was sitting on the train, and he saw Mr. Whitson. Whitson was a spectacle peddler,
Oh, okay.
and I don't know why spectacle peddlers got to be such low-class people, but everybody kind of made fun of people, just a spectacle peddler. Then what they do, they had a suitcase that's opened this way, and this side full of little boxes. That side was full of little boxes, and a pair of glasses in each one of them. And you just sat down and you try on glasses till you found one that you could read through. He gave you something to read.
Yeah,
And he'd sell it to you for $2.50.
kind of like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
It was what it was.
Mr. Lewis saw Whitson on the train one day, and he went and got the seat right behind him.
Uh-huh.
And somebody else there that sat down by Mr. Lewis, and he said, he had a habit of saying, "huh," every little bit when he talked. He said to his seatmate, "Do you know this man Whitson that runs up and down this railroad and selling spectacles?" Huh?
And it was him.
Huh?
The one selling spectacles was saying that.
No.
No.
Mr. Lewis was saying,
Oh,
but the other guy was sitting in the seat right in front of him, hearing it. What are you doing? You're razzing him, see?
yeah.
And then he'd say, "Well, I tell you, if you want to buy Mr. Whitson's spectacles, you can't get any better ones. They're the best ones in the world." And he'd brag on Mr. Whitson's glasses for a while. And then his bottom line was, "I'm telling you, if you buy a pair of Mr. Whitson's spectacles, you could just take your pocket knife and knock the glasses out and put frames on and see it a damn sight better than you ever did in your life."
He's pretty good. He's pretty good
So
saying.
Whitson just sitting there with sweating blood, you know.
Oh, man.
Did they ever know? Well, they knew it was him, didn't they?
Why,
Oh,
yes, everybody knew Mr. Lewis.
Oh, my goodness.
He was the granddaddy of Kirk's.
Yeah.
And his brother was the head man at Beach Creek till Raymond took over. Raymond was running Beach Creek when I was
Yeah.
going down there.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, what did Tom do down there? What did Tom do? He done something down there, didn't he? Would he work in the office, or what did he do? Or did he work in the mine?
Tom Kirk,
Yeah. He and
I
Ray,
think he ran the company stores.
he ran the store. Yeah. Well, I didn't remember.
See, they had two company stores. They had one at Kirk's and one at Beach Creek.
You remember Bowie, Jim Bowie,
Yeah,
married Irene Clarity.
yeah.
He worked in there.
And Brian Clark. Brian Clark was
Yeah.
in there last time that I knew anything about it.
And Jenkins worked at Kirk Company store.
You know, the Lon Matherly, you know
Yeah.
how Lon got hooked up to Kirkpatrick. He married into the Kirkpatrick
Oh,
family.
he did. I didn't know.
And that's the reason that was Matherly and Kirkpatrick, that big
He
store.
was.
That store was sort of the company store of the Mud River Mines.
Hmm.
I used to have a flicker. You
Yeah.
know what a flicker is?
Yeah, sure.
The
I wish I had
Kirkpatrick
both
Matherly's flicker.
I wish I
And
had
it's got away
something.
from me through the years. I don't know.
You know, they're valuable now.
Huh?
They're valuable now. Collector's items.
Yeah.
They bring a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can find it about that now. Somebody there at Beach Creek collects all that stuff.
Yeah.
Can't think what his name is.
Somebody around it has them, I'm sure.
And collects all kinds. And they used to, several stores had them. Besides the mine, there was one, I think Mr. Charlie Martin had some, what they call flickers.
Yeah.
And I've forgotten who
You know
else.
about flickers. don't
No, I don't know what a flicker
you?
is.
Well, it's imitation money. But it has the company on it instead of United States.
The company store for the mine?
Matherly and Kirkpatrick was on flickers. And the Beach Creek ones, there's some Kirkpatrick on them. What they did, instead of the miners wanted to buy something at the company store, the company store wouldn't credit them. But when the miner had a paycheck coming, they'd sell them a pocket full of those flickers. And they would spend just like money at the company store.
Okay.
Nobody else was supposed to take them. Now, most of the other stores around got so they would take them. And then they managed some way to get rid of them.
Yeah. Ellis Underwood done a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Underwood couldn't have made it if he hadn't taken the flickers.
So this is like the big,
But you could get a, as you see, the guy that didn't have any money, they would draw flickers. That'd be, now that's taking, they said, that'd be taking it off their work. It's gonna come off their work, and maybe that
credit over
yeah,
it.
all right. They take them flickers, go in the store and buy a carton of cigarettes. Then they take it and sell it to somebody for about half price and get money for it. A lot of them done that, didn't they, Will?
Yeah.
And they done the money that way.
Flickers
all
change
the time.
hands all the
They
time.
done that to get some cash. And then they take, a lot of times they take the cash and give them some white lightning or something, you know, like a lot of them did. But anyway, that flicker business was a big business.
And that Kirk Company store, they sold a lot of things that you couldn't get at the average grocery. For instance, when my grandfather Posey died, I had that little 25 bottle card. I got Uncle Doe, and I said, let's go down to Kirk's and buy him a casket. So we drove down to Kirk's Company store and went up to see the attic where they had them set out and picked him out a casket. They said we'll deliver it tomorrow at such and such a time. We'll send it out with a truck tomorrow. It'll be there at 10 o'clock or whatever. And we paid them for it, $35. And that was all it called Grandpa to get buried.
$35, that's,
We paid $35 for his casket. The neighbors dug a grave. The neighbors laid him out, put him in the casket, buried him, filled the grave.
That's the way
That's the way the country people did it.
they done a lot of them, I thought.
My brother Lee, he got to where he was digging, having to dig graves somewhere. Half the time you wanted him to work on the farm, he'd be off somewhere digging a grave.
Yeah.
I wanna see if you reckon, well, it's kinda small, it's kinda hard to see this gentleman, I'm gonna make it bigger here. Let's see if I can't make his picture a little bigger. Alright, there we go. There's a man sitting right there with a dog in his lap. That's the Grandpa Jimmy Anderson that lived down in front of you. That's Savara. I guess that would have been your, and Severi. Hackett is not in the picture.
I went to school to her.
Yes, sir. And then that was her brother Matthew, Uncle Matthew, and Shelby, and then I think that was a visitor, Paul said. I didn't know if you recognized his face. This is probably 20 years before you were born. This picture was made, though, I think.
Yeah, I can't recognize him because
He changed.
he had, I guess, a lot more whiskers in his later days. This one, I never did do him. I've heard him all my life, but I never did know him.
Uncle Matthew.
Now, Hackett, of course, I knew him.
Well, this-
He had that same thing, like his father did.
Grandpa Hackett had to shake too, Paul?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think I've got some wood pictures in here. Now, that's supposed to be FM
Yeah,
and Fannie Hughes Wood. Is that right?
yeah, Fanny.
Fannie.
They have that, I think, on her tombstone, but her name is not spelled like that. It's P-H.
Now this,
I think originally it was Trifania, Triphaneey, Trifania.
Really?
But they got that out of the Bible somewhere.
These are all Paul's pictures, Harry's pictures.
he was Aunt Mary's and Grandpa Abner's daddy.
Mhm.
And that's Grandpa Mary. I can
See,
remember him
he-
staying with Aunt Mary. See, he's got his long whiskers,
Mhm.
and he'd sitting, pull them or comb them. Oh,
All the time.
he'd take care of them. Yeah.
He made his own billfold.
Leather billfold.
They see the bunch of cobblers and leather people in my family all the way back as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And he could still make a pair of shoes. This was Aunt Nanny, and I want to tell you a story about Aunt Matt. Aunt Matt was 5 years older than my father. She was 9 years older than my father.
Mhm.
Well, she was his first wife. He married her, and they had one girl, and she died. And the girl, I don't know, sometime after she died, Grandpa had married a ward
Mhm.
lived down the creek there below us. And they had 2 children, Abner and Mary Elizabeth. And that's Aunt Mary.
Well, maybe I've got a picture of that. I've got another Wood picture here, maybe that I don't know them too well. Francis Marion, Mary Elizabeth, Liz
That's good.
Wood,
Yeah,
Daniel Marion Hunt, Eula Gardner.
Yeah,
and Catherine. The little girl named Catherine.
yeah, that's Catherine now.
Yeah, that's the baby. That's James Gardner's. That's James Gardner's family. This is James
Let me
Gardner's.
tell you a story about her.
The little baby?
Yeah. When I was in Hong Kong, they took us up one of those wild rivers up in Indonesia there, and we got what they call, if you get it in Mexico, Montezuma's revenge.
Mhm.
And that night, Irma got awful sick. She was sitting on the toilet, diarrhea, vomiting. She was going at both ends at the same time. And I was trying to take care of her, and I hadn't hit me. But the next day, I called, I had found, Leonard and your Davy had told me that Catherine was in Hong Kong. She had married a Baptist missionary by the name of Cecil. And they were, and Catherine had made a nurse. She was a medical missionary and he was a preacher. And they had an apartment in Hong Kong. I mean, in Kowloon. They call that the New Territories, or there's Hong Kong itself is an island.
Mhm.
It's a piece of the ocean, comes around just about the size of Green River, runs between Hong Kong and the New Territories. Well, they had to live, they belonged to China. They had, all of this still had been belonged to China, but the New Territories had got free from China.
Mhm.
And they had an apartment and lived over there in Kowloon, they called it. So I got on the telephone and called her and told her what about my problem. And she said, well, you know, a nurse cannot prescribe, but I can tell you, and they had as good a drugstore in Hong Kong as you can find anywhere in Bowling Green or Nashville today. And it looked just like, I was in there one day looking around, fooling around, and some woman was visiting in there. She kept talking, and I said, I believe you must be from the States. Yeah, she said, I'm Owensboro. I said, we think we were right home with this one drugstore. Well, I called Catherine, and she told me, said, you can buy over the counter a medicine that would be just about as good as I could prescribe for you. And you go to your drugstore and get that and start giving it to her.
That worked?
Yeah.
That worked? And so that's that little,
Did-
I had
Yeah.
Catherine
Let me, go
in the
ahead.
in the 2nd grade.
you taught her?
I taught her in the 2nd grade. And that was umpteen years later that I was in Hong Kong and she was a registered nurse giving me some medicine.
You know, she married, this man was a preacher she married.
Yeah. Cecil.
And he come back up there and bought Willie Hunt's place and Evan Sumner's place and built a great big house. Have you seen that big house he built over there?
Yeah, I looked at it pretty
Sir?
soon after it was built.
Well, anyway,
He doesn't own that anymore.
no, he's gone now. But he found out farming wasn't his. Preaching is better than farming. and he sold it all out, but he spent a lot of money up there.
He built that tremendous house because he thought he was gonna start him a little school up there.
But that's what he aimed to do, it's a big one. I walked across the front of it there, and it's 150 feet wide.
That's the way he made it so big. He wanted.
That's Uncle Tom and Aunt Severity right there.
Yeah, I'll get that picture. I got a couple of pictures here. I'm trying to
That's Uncle Tom
find.
Arnold. That's right.
Yeah, that's
Uncle Tom, who?
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold married Aunt Severity.
Yeah, but he didn't do that, so she was old.
Well, I think it's '09 is.
Yeah, he's a lot older. I think he's older than Aunt Severity. He's buried down at Old Mud River Mine.
I think. Let me find that other picture. There's another wood picture in here.
But I went to school to her when I was in 7th, 8th grade.
Well, that's Demi there.
Well,
Who are we thinking of? So you got there's Leonard and Demi, and there's
yeah,
Harry and Clarabelle. Harlan.
Yeah.
That's about 1919, right there.
That's what he got,
and
Savara got after him for.
and she and the girls told the teacher and the teacher she was not going to have anything going like that on her school ground. And the girls, by the way, were Tom Arnold's granddaughters. And they were in the family, you know, that you're not going to have your granddaughters, some filthy-mouthed man making comments like that.
So that was Aunt Severity's
So she-
granddaughters by marriage.
Yeah.
I guess. Do you need a drink, Paul? Or use take a break, use the restroom or anything?
I don't understand who we're talking about. I got.
Aunt Severity was teaching the Penrod School,
Oh, yeah.
and this young fella made some
Oh,
said some
maybe
words
not.
that weren't
Yeah.
very nice.
You knew
Yeah.
Taylor Wood.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
sure.
And so Aunt Severity
Yeah, corrected.
took care of him.
Oh, she just beat the thunder out of him.
Taylor finally committed suicide, you know.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We used to send him gasoline up there, and there at the last, he's a bootlegger, you know. He said, he told the boy, the man driving the gas truck, said, you know, I'm the nicest bootlegger in the county. And I said, well, I didn't know there was any nice bootlegger. He said, yeah, I'm a nice bootlegger. Said, there's a church right up there on the hill, and he says, on Sunday, he says, I won't sell him.
Maybe you can tell me which this is. I told you on the phone the other night. It says the Old Cedardale School, 1886, and I didn't know if that was the schoolhouse that you went to. That Aunt Severity taught, or if it's a different building. Didn't know if you recognized that schoolhouse or not. But that's pink wood right there with the tie on. Or that's what it says. It says it's a pink wood. And it says French Turner next to him, and there's some other people. I didn't know if you recognize that building or not.
I have seen that man's picture somewhere before.
It says his name is teacher Bailey Wooten, later Attorney General of Kentucky and banker. So.
Well, those gals were dressed in those days, weren't they? They dressed up for that picture, didn't they? That's Alec Mallory right there.
Yeah. Let's see. Ellen Reuben Mallory. Let's see. I can't tell which row is which one, but
Let's see, that's front row. First row from there.
Alex Mallory. Yeah, that's who. With the white headband. You remember that schoolhouse, or is that one? Is that the school before you went to?
No, that
That's different.
Cedar Dales was gone when I went to school there.
Where was Cedardale Schoolhouse?
About halfway, you know where Marshall Arnold Spring was that we got the water from? About halfway from where the new school was built, up to Marshall Arnold Spring.
And what?
Somebody told me
Right
that.
in that section, called Cedardale.
My father went to school there.
Mm-hmm.
My father taught a school there. I don't know what time, what year.
What relation to Pink Wood was your father?
Almost none.
Oh.
Pink, if this is the right pink.
If that's the right Pink, I
I'm
don't.
talking about, that's Dink's father.
I don't know.
You know Dink? You know,
Dink Wood's father, you talking about the Dr. Wood's granddaddy,
yeah,
Jay? I thought their father was Clarence.
well, we're back one generation behind you.
Well,
Pink's.
then you go back another generation from Clarence, Uncle Jimmy. Jimmy Wood lived up there around Dunmore somewhere,
Yeah,
and he walks everywhere. You remember that?
yeah. He was a good friend of mine.
Well, you know what? They walked and he had trouble with his knee, and Clarence or somebody took him to the doctor, and they told the doctor he just walked everywhere. They couldn't keep him from walking. He just went everywhere. And the doctor went on and told him, said, well, we've been walking too much, Uncle Jimmy. He had to holler at him real loud. And Uncle Jimmy said, what? You've been walking too much on it. That's what's the matter with it. And he said, no, it can't be that. Says I walk just as much on the other one as I do this one. They said, it can't be walking on it. Hey, he used to come down there and go squirrel hunting with Grandpa. I can remember him walking down, and Grandpa would go squirrel hunting with him. Now, I was just a little boy. And Grandpa said that he tried to stay behind Uncle Jimmy all the time, and they'd be going through the woods. Never did kill a squirrel. Grandpa said he'd just step on the sticks, and they never could see no squirrels. Squirrels all hid. And now that's one of the woods anyway.
Well, now that Uncle Jimmy was, his name really was Pinckney.
Uh-huh.
Somebody,
Yeah.
somebody says,
It says that Pinckney Wood became the village 23rd postmaster 1903. And then, of course, says your dad, relative, became postmaster 1910. I don't know if it's talking about that Pink Wood or not. I don't know.
yeah,
Same one.
and he lived either the house below your great-great-grandfather or just above it. When I went down to the post office to play on the porch, I had to pass the Pinkwood house and the Jimmy Anderson house.
Now, was he the one that called you the little postmaster?
Yeah,
Now, what was that story?
called me little postmaster.
Grandpa Jimmy called him the little postmaster.
The postman.
He named me that when I was born because I was almost born in the post office.
He was. He liked not have got home. I say, your mother ain't Annie. Ain't Annie was your mother's name,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I say she liked to not have got home before you was born.
Yeah, she was down there keeping the post office. He had bought that farm down on the creek. Was down there blowing stumps. There was somebody cleaned up a new down the ground. There's still several stumps in there. If you ever plowed with a double horse plow, you'd know what stump would do to you. It was
Yeah. I used
one of those handles that just about break you.
They
Holy
can't rupture
hell.
yourself.
Yeah. And so he was down there blowing stumps out of the ground. When he came back to the house, he looked in they'd already hired a girl, and I like to believe that it was your mother or one of her sisters to come and keep house and take care of Mama and the baby for 10 days or 2 weeks or
Yeah.
whatever. And so they'd already hired her and had her up there learning how to keep house, what to do. And so mother was down at the post office and store taking care of it while Dad was down at the farm. And so he came back up from the farm, looked in the door, and saw the girl sitting in there and said, "Where's Annie?" The girl said, She's up at the house and she's sick too. Mama had already had a second pain, and the next customer she had, she sent him down to Aunt Liz Morgan's. Tell Aunt Liz to meet me up at my house as soon as she can get there. Aunt Liz Morgan was an old colored woman, the only midwife that lived in Penrod, and the only colored woman that lived in Penrod. And she lived right across the road from your Uncle Louis McElwain's mill.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where it was.
That piece of that old log house is still standing when Lee married. He lived there for a while so he could get another place to live. And so she went up to the house. My mother took off up to the house, of course, as soon as she got that girl fixed up, and as soon as she got another person to go down to get Aunt Liz to meet her up there, she went up and got there about the same time Aunt Liz did, went to bed and had the baby and me, and Dad said he came in and said, "Where's Annie?" They didn't tell you where you were born, anything about births in those days. That was a hush-hush. And so I thought I was found in a broom sage back at my house. And, anyhow, it's 40, 50 years later, and now the story can be told. So Dad tells me detail, just what happened that day. And I said, "Where's Annie?" She's up at the house, and she is sick too. And I said he went up that hill about 3 jumps. I said he's too late. I said I was already dressed, washed up and dressed, and up getting my breakfast when he got there.
Would my grandpa Jimmy have been there at the birth, or just visited, or he just
No,
knew
he
you?
just, next door neighbor knew everything was going on in the neighborhood.
Did your parents ever talk about him much? Years after he passed away, did they ever talk about, know much about him?
No,
Anything?
I don't think I ever tried that story about the war, the Shiloh deal on them. See
See if they remembered?
if they ever remembered it. If they did, they didn't remember it. See, that impressed me so much. And then when that happened to me up at Western, they were the wanted to fight about it. That brought it all back, and I remembered it then.
Well, that's not.
Back to the Kent folks, there are 2 pink woods. There's a lady over here who had a party the other day, and she had a Martha, somebody at the party, and introduced me as Mr. Dr. Wood. And she approached me after the party and said, "Did you happen to be, or do you know anything about a Jimmy Wood?" I said, "Oh yes, he's a good friend of mine. I loved him." And so I told her the last time I saw him, I was a teenager and beginning to be the main man at the farm. And I was at Dunmore getting strap point sharpened or a mule shod or something, because Alec had quit blacksmithing. He retired, and we didn't have a blacksmith shop in Penrod anymore. So I've been Dunmore. And you know, part of Dunmore is on one side of the street, and the other part of Dunmore is on the other side. Well, I was going back across the railroad to the blacksmith shop or to a store over there, and met Uncle Jimmy right on the railroad track. And he said, "Oh, isn't it a beautiful day? Ain't this a beautiful day? It is a beautiful sunshiny day in October." And he said, "I can remember so well a day like this." And I said, "When is that, Uncle Jimmy?" "Oh," he said, "I was in Atlanta, turning over railroad tracks." And then I'll have to give you another lesson, history lesson. When the Civil War was going on, they tried to shut Atlanta off. Atlanta had become the headquarters of all the commerce that went through this part of the country. And if they just could shut Atlanta off, they could starve somebody out. The Union was trying to starve out the Confederates, and the Confederates were trying to starve out the Union. So they were all trying to stop the trade into Atlanta. And the Union had got possession. You ever see the Great Train story made it in a movie some years ago?
No, sir.
Well, during that time, either the Union or the Confederates stole a railroad engine there from in the railroad yard in Atlanta to do some of their hauling and going and coming with it. And they started off with it, and it ran out of steam, and they had to have coal in the furnace, you know, to keep the furnace going to have steam. But it ran out of steam, and they had a bunch of section hands. The people that kept up with the railroad were section hands those days to push them. So they went on up the railroad, pushing the old general. That was the old general. He's in the textbooks for history, and I've got a miniature of him in a tack basket. You know, they were pushing that train up the track till some of them could get there with a hand car, one of these hand cars that go up and down.
Yeah, they had to do their own push.
And so some men pushing, and some working the hand car, trying to outrun the whatever. If that was Union side, the Confederates were about to get them. If that's Confederate side, the Union was about to get them. And so they were trying to get the old general up there if they wanted to keep possession of it, because that was the main. It was the switch engine in the yards there in Atlanta. If anybody brought cabbage or potatoes into Atlanta in a railroad car, the switch engine would take it to wherever they unloaded it in
My
the
goodness.
warehouse. So that was very important to take care of. And somebody made a movie of that called The Great Train Chase.
I'll have to.
Showed the man pushing and the hand car people pumping and trying to keep the old general out of the hands of the other army. But
You know, I believe they got one of those hand cars up in that building up there, Duncan building there in Greenville. In that, now I'm pretty sure they did. I tell you, the man yes, well, I'm trying, had done it or had it done or worked with it, is Junior Raymer. They had to take it all apart, see, and take it in there and set it up. Now, I haven't been in there since it done, but I believe they got one in there, one of them old hand cars.
yeah, they put their tools on that.
Yeah.
And they punched that, and they didn't have but about 3 or 4 miles of track to take care
To
of.
take care of, yeah.
So they didn't have to take it very far.
Yeah.
But now they just sit up there and push a button.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Do you need to take a break, get a drink? I don't want to wear you out. I'm just so full of questions and all these pictures.
You know.
But I didn't know if you need to do anything.
I've got a jug of juice, berry juice in there if you want something to drink.
Oh, I don't need anything. I just thought if y'all needed
No,
to.
Hey, you want
I'd
something
like
to
to go
drink?
to the bathroom directly though.
Well, we all do that. I need to do that myself.
You better go, you want to show him, you want him to show you where it is?
Yeah,
Or you want me to just tell you where it is?
well, you did,
You go down this hall, second door on the left.
second door on the left, okay. I just go down there and let out a little water.
I'll tell you what, while we're gone, that's supposed to be a picture of Abner Wood's birthday in 1920, and I wondered if you were in that picture. That's supposed to be, Paul, that's a picture Harry had.
Yeah, I
19
should be in there.
Yeah,
1920.
he was in
I
there.
would have been 13 years old then.
I didn't know anybody in the picture, and I thought, well, maybe you'd recognize somebody. I don't know.
Well,
I want to tell you some more about
Let's talk a little bit about when y'all all boarded over at our house. When I had that was something, wasn't it? That old house over there.
Yeah, the
Was that something?
worst tale I know about that is Tom Brantley.
Yeah.
I looked that over while you were back there, and I couldn't find
You
anybody
recognize
that
anybody?
I thought.
What's this right here? What's that supposed to be?
That's your house. Do you remember this house, Mr. Wood? That's the house that,
Oh, that's up at the farm.
let me make it a little smaller there.
That's the house that we had to build at the farm before, just about before, and then we moved. Dad never did finish it.
Maribel, Harry, and Harlan, and Amos.
Amos Anderson.
That's 1921.
Yeah.
Do you remember that house sitting up on the road?
Hmm.
That was out on the highway, there at Gus. Just down the
If you got one there of the T-Mart where it had
yeah.
where Harold and Marion used to visit us a good bit out there. There's a picture somewhere, I don't know where, he's got Harold and Marion sitting on the running board of the old T-Mart.
Right there.
There it is. There we all are, me and Harlan.
Harold Wood, and Harry and Marion Wood.
Is that your father's car?
Yeah, that's old T-Mart. We had Dad's T-Mart there. And,
That's 1923.
yeah,
I had a 25 model, mine just had one seat in it.
yeah. And that's the house right back here, you see, in the background. Now, the well is right up in here, supposed to be. Can you see the well?
There's a wood pile in the way there.
Is it?
And tell me who.
Marion Wood.
Marion?
Yeah.
Marion and Harold there.
That's
I don't know which one is which.
Harold is a little one.
Cloud bed there?
Well, we think that's Harold Wood there. And that's Harry and Marion.
And this is Harlan.
And that's
down here.
Harlan.
And I forgot that dog's name. See, there's a dog.
Wasn't that
That looks
Kubich?
like a girl there.
It does look like a girl, but I'm not really sure. I may have another picture like that in front of the house there. Do you remember that the Gus store there on the highway, Mr. Wood?
Yeah, I've been in that Gus store many times.
We were trying to find a picture of that store.
Uncle John wouldn't let us go to the post office.
What's that now?
Uncle John, he thought he was a postmaster, and he wouldn't let us go in the post office. That was government property.
John who?
Sumner.
Oh,
What?
Eben and Marion's father. Marion was actually the postmaster.
We called him Uncle Jack.
Yeah, Uncle Jack.
Yeah, we called him Uncle Jack.
He married that Aunt Nanny that I was telling you about. a while
Yeah.
ago. Aunt Nanny.
She was. Who was she
Aunt Nanny.
before she married him?
She was a Hughes. She's grandma married a Hughes, and they had that one girl, Nanny.
But she's kind of. She raised Marion's children. You know, Martha and Sarah Margaret and John Turner. You know, their mother passed away, and she raised them over there. She talked kind of short to them. I mean, she wasn't much fun about her. Like,
Yeah, now you brought her up, I'm gonna tell you about the story about
and who's in?
Aunt Nanny that
Right.
married into Sumner family.
Okay.
Aunt Nanny was, you showed us a picture when Fanny Wood had married a Hughes.
Yes.
Well, Nanny was the daughter of Hughes and Grandma. And then a little later, Grandpa had married into the Ward family and had Uncle Abner and Aunt Mary. And they married together then. The Hughes woman was a widow, and Grandpa's wife had died, and he and Grandma got together and married, and they put Uncle Abner and Aunt Mary and Nanny together, and they had a family of 3. And then they had started having them. They had a bunch of their own. They had Lydia, who's the Gardner women's grandmother,
yeah,
and Lakey,
I remember that.
and then Dad and Aunt Matt.
Mm-hmm. sisters?
Yeah.
Well, where was Uncle Thomas, where was Uncle Thomas, Sumner, ain't Matt's husband? Where, did he come from up in around Gus, Penrod, up in there?
Yeah.
But I thought maybe he did.
He made the best advertisement for education I ever heard. Irma and I lived in part of his house the 4 years that I taught in Greenville. And he and I, they had a porch, they had a porch all the way across the front. And that, upstairs had a porch all the way across the front. He and I were sitting at the upstairs porch one day with our feet up on the banister telling tales. And he was telling me about when he first started teaching school. He was teaching somewhere around Gus. And the post office then was Laura Bluff. Penrod Post Office.
Oh,
Name was
Laura
Laura
Bluff.
Bluff. It was on up the creek a little past where Dr. Bewley lived.
Uh-huh.
And, well, he told me that he used to get on his horse every Saturday. He'd teach school through the week. Get on his horse on Saturday and ride to Laura Bluff and get his mail once a week. And said, one of the main things he was after the newspaper. He was taking a newspaper that come once a week. When I was a teenager, Atlanta, big paper in Atlanta was putting out a weekly edition. And then Memphis newspaper was putting out one called Commercial Appeal. And my dad was always taking one of those newspapers when I was a kid. The weekly Atlanta Journal or the weekly Commercial Appeal from Memphis. Well, he was taking a newspaper that was coming to the post office at Laura Bluff, and that was the only paper they got. And when he went and got his paper, they got rid of most of the mail. And he told me one day we were sitting on the banister up on the porch talking. He said, my brothers used to fuss at me about me sitting around reading while they were out working, plowing corn and sucking tobacco.
Yeah.
But he said, and you know what? And you had to know Uncle Tom to know how he said that. And you know what? I said, what, Uncle Tom? They're still working, and I'm still reading.
He got
He made a school teacher.
Yeah.
And after he taught school for several years, he got into politics. And he got elected or appointed circuit court clerk. And he stayed circuit court clerk for about 12 years. And then he got big enough shot, he got into the mining business. And he used to own most of the mines at Bevere, Cleveland. And
That's in here, that book right there.
And when the union came in there trying to organize, the mines owners would start hiring new people. They called them strike breakers. And the strike breakers and the union miners would have a battle right there in the coal yard. They got 2 or 3 people badly shot up. And as far as I know, they didn't actually kill anybody. But they did some got some bad wounds. And Aunt Matt says to Uncle Tom one day, said, Tom Sumner, she called him Tom Sumner. Tom Sumner, you're going to get one of my boys killed with them old mines. You got to get rid of them. And he sold them right on the eve of World War I. The guys he sold them to were soon millionaires.
And this is the same Aunt Matt and Uncle Tom we talked about coming up here that your father boarded with
That's
when
right.
he went to Greenville.
That's right.
He lived with, okay. So you boarded with them too?
Well, no, I was living there and teaching in school.
What, so that would have been later.
I had an apartment there in 36, I went to Greenville in 36 or 7 and taught at Greenville 4 years before I came to Boise.
What do you suppose, that he was renting the same room that your dad was living
I don't
in
know,
10
see,
years
Dad-
earlier?
Dad was
Well,
buried.
we had a whole half the house.
The great big house there where Wayne Sisters is now. They tore it down They tore it down and
built a new house.
got a new one there. Uncle Tom and them, Aunt Matt had a great big house though, didn't
Oh, yeah.
they? They had a great big, they had several acres back there behind it.
Yeah, he called that his park back there.
Uh-huh.
And this pink woodbloom we were talking about a while ago lived right down the street from them and had a cow in what Uncle Tom called his park.
Yeah.
And Pink would come up the road,
They-
walk back there to the pasture, put a rope on his cow, lead her up to the farm
Yeah.
and milk her and feed her,
Uh-huh.
put her in the stable. Then
Yeah.
he'd go back and do that again next morning.
Well, we had a cow. I had a cow right up the street there, right above. In the late 30s and early till 1950. You know, right there in Greenville, yet everybody had a cow. Not everybody, but a whole lot did. And we had pig pens. You could raise your. Now they won't even let you have a chicken in Greenville. That's the truth. They got city ordinances for all the crazy stuff I ever saw.
You recognize this picture?
Yeah, I know where that.
That's Harry by his smokehouse. Now, do you remember Hackett, Harry's grandfather, and Deanie, and Grandma Kate? That's Hackett's wife. Did you ever know them? That'd be Leonard's dad and
Yeah.
mother. Did you know him very well?
No, they didn't live right in Penrod.
No, they lived out at Gus.
And I had moved to the farm. See, we moved to the farm when I was 7 years old or 8 years old, and I lost track of what was going on in Penrod and Gus.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know if you knew him.
This is fish. These fish right here was caught down there in Mud River down there about the mouth of Rocky Creek. Grandpa and Harlan and I went down there fishing, and we caught a whole bunch of catfish. Now we pulled a rowboat from up the farm down to the mouth of Rocky Creek with a paddle, and the fish down there. Somebody, I don't know how, but I don't remember the details about how we was going. We knew that there's a lot of catfish in that area.
And
But we
anytime it
did.
come a big rain, that creek could get muddy and
Yeah.
catfish would all come out and start hunting worms and bugs.
So you went down past the Mud River Mine,
Oh yeah.
on down.
Oh yeah.
Do
Went
you-
down the mouth of Rocky Creek.
What
Way on down
Do
there.
you remember the mine being there? I've never seen
No, I
any
don't
pictures
remember.
of that of Mud River Mine. Do you
It
remember
was
anything
done
about
gone.
that?
You know, I have never seen Mud River Mines. I've never been to Mud River Mines.
Well,
I wanted-
Lived on
It's
the
all-
old switch track for years, and never been down
Well, I
there.
wondered if you'd ever seen the school that was there. If Savara taught at Mud River Mine School, apparently taught Leonard. And
he rode behind Aunt Severi to school down there when he was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old on a horse instead of going to hunt school while Aunt Severi taught down at Mud River Mines, and she come to the house and he'd get up behind her on that old horse and ride
She had
down
a
there.
reputation of being the best teacher in the neighborhood.
I bet
Is
she
that
was.
right?
Yeah.
She's an intelligent person.
well, I got a picture of her here.
She's
Now,
always in a hurry. Just just doing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Clarabelle tells this on her, and it's the truth too. I wasn't there, but Clarabelle and I don't know who else is there. Over at Aunt Severi's, you knew where they lived, way over there, not far from Old Hebron. You know, cross over in the wood in the farm. And Aunt Severi we was eating out in the screen porch, I believe. And Aunt Severi cooked some cabbage along with other things, and had this bowl of cabbage, and she started out of the kitchen to bring it out there, and she made a quick turn like she always does, and there went the cabbage out of the bowl right on the floor. Yeah, it went out on the floor.
now,
That,
that's Aunt Severi
That's
there,
her.
but
boy, that
she was younger there
Yeah.
than when you knew her, I guess.
She'd already got tough though, hadn't she?
This is this is about 1895, or so, I think, when that picture was made.
Yeah, that is it. Right.
But now I might have a picture over here that was when you might have known her. A little bit later, I got a picture over down here. at her house. Let's see, I'm gonna
Have you
find.
got a picture of her with her holding a little dog?
She
Yeah.
nearly got my brother and me into trouble. William Bewley and we two walked up the road together home from school. William lived across the railroad over on the hill. And when we lived where I told you a while ago, when I was 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 years old, somewhere along there. And William says one day, said, that old house sitting over there in those trees, nobody lives there, it's abandoned. Let's knock out some windows. So we got us some rocks and went over there.
I gave you a telephone ring. Is that the telephone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
George, the railroad company, when they built the railroad, they dammed up that little old place there and made that, didn't they?
I don't know.
Well, somebody thought, well, I got pictures of it, when we moved there in 1926, that big trees was growed all, you know, in it, even out in the edge of it. There, it's it wasn't over that deep. Evidently, they thought it would drain. And they thought they said, no, that's where they dug some dirt out of there to use for the school purposes. Something up there. I said, well, I don't believe it did. And I don't think it was man dug. I think it was dammed it up there when they built the railroad. And that was built in 1873.
No, I never heard anything about why it was built.
Yeah,
I remember there was a pond down there.
yeah. And they skated on it in the winter when it's free. And there wasn't no danger of anybody getting drowned in it. It's a good place for them to play. And the water wouldn't be that
We
deep.
lose baseball in it occasionally.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd get out on that front ground, play baseball, see the
Knocked the ball over there.
the train came, we rode to school,
Mhm.
we'd come back to Penrod about 6:30. So we had to stay there for a good while after school was out.
Yeah.
Lee or I, one of us would start playing and the other one would go down toward Browder, let the bees
Listen for it.
listen for a train, and we could hear choo, choo, choo. We'd say, boy, that's the run. And he'd holler at the other one, and we'd train just as far as we could down the hill and then catch it to ride home. So you get home an hour or two early, see. Hobo in.
Yeah.
We had tickets in the pocket. We had to buy our tickets by the month. We had,
But way I rode it, we're going out there, I just paid them each time I rode it. I just paid them a dime to ride from down there up to Penrod.
yeah,
And
that's,
Sunday evening, I'd pay them a dime to ride back. And from Penrod back to down there, I go.
and you could pay a dime and ride from Penrod up to Dunmore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a dime.
Just a
It's
dime.
a short distance. It costs you a dime.
But now, when you were teaching at Hughes Kirk, you lived right there, though. You didn't come in and out with the train when you were teaching.
That's right. I was a student when I was telling you about catching the train.
Oh, you went to school at Hughes Kirk as a student?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Graduated there in 29.
Okay, so when you were in the teacherage,
Yeah.
Wilson was in school.
Sponsored.
Leonard your teacher?
Yeah. Leonard was teaching 6th grade.
So he didn't teach you?
No.
No?
I had
You signed,
I had already taught a year out in country school at Price's Bridge, and any time that he had called out for sickness or somewhere and couldn't be there, why they'd call me and I'd go down and substitute for him. I
Okay.
nearly got into trouble. He nearly got me in trouble. We had some parsons, some of those
Oh,
parsons.
yeah, I know,
Pages,
across the
pages,
railroad track there.
And I was down there teaching for Leonard one day, and one of them got up, threw a football all the way across the room to his buddy over on the other side of the house.
Which school is this?
Hughes Kirk,
Oh, okay.
grade school. grade school, Hughes Court. Not that old wooden building, it's stucco building that he mentioned a while ago. And so I went back to him, the boy that caught it, I said, hand me that ball. And he held it off my hand like that. He just turned and threw it back to his buddy. And I just reached out, whacked him one like that, and boy, I smacked him good. But he tried to dodge me, and I hit him across the nose, and he bled like a stuck pig. And the other kids, oh, he kicked him.
They pretty tough boys though. They grew up to be pretty tough.
Well, now, did Leonard ever have to discipline
I guess he
kids
did.
much?
I guess he did, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But they, with a substitute, they always try a substitute out, you know, and they can get by more with him. Because they don't think he has authority to do anything, so.
Harlan taught school, you know, for a good while. And he went to Union Ridge, and they done run everybody off up there. And then he said that the car come along. Of course, it's all dirt road. There wasn't many cars. And he said all the kids would jump up and run to the window, to the front door. And he said, you know, that wouldn't work. And he said, in about 2 weeks, he said the car would go by and blow the horn. They wouldn't even turn around and look.
Because what he did.
Oh, they whipped the man, didn't they? Yeah, they whipped a boy. I mean, you didn't fool with them. And when they got a whipping 9 times out of 10, for daddy and mother found out about they get another that got home. Didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of parents told the kids, yeah, if you get
a whipping.
out of line in school and get bad enough to get a whipping, well, you'll get another one when you get home.
Yeah.
And,
But it's a different story today.
yeah,
That's for sure. Would a survivor ever have to, you say she had to whip that one boy, was that normal when you were in, she was teaching you?
oh, yeah, that, you wouldn't have learned anything about him getting a whipping. It's just the circumstances we didn't understand. I mean, we didn't know why, you know. We're sitting there watching her whip him, wondering what was going on.
But she was, that was a one-room school, right?
Yeah.
How did she handle all the grades in one room? How did
She'd
you?
sit up at her desk and work on her books. She'd say, third grade,
Had the big bench.
third grade reading,
Had the big bench up there, didn't it?
fourth grade arithmetic. And the class would come up and sit there, and you'd say, well, if anybody having any trouble today? Somebody said yes, he had trouble. And you'd try to take care of that trouble, assign them so many pages for the next day and send them back to their seats.
You know,
They hadn't invented homework.
I learned a whole lot by just listening.
Yeah.
You could.
By the time a fella got to 8th grade, he'd heard it all.
Yeah.
And he'd heard it, some of it 6 and 7 times. Yeah.
I could tell you a funny little joke about teaching. Funny little joke. You'd have to cut that off or wherever. Are you taping it?
Huh?
Are you taping what we're saying?
Well, yeah, just so I don't have to write it down.
Well,
But I can erase anything. You can
all
do too. I
right.
can
I'll
just take it off.
tell Wilson. Maybe he's funny. Now I don't know whether this actually happened to Harlan or not, but he told it. It happened to somebody up in Jefferson County, him one, that told it up there. And of course, you know how they call up the first grade, second grade, so they had about the second grade up spelling, and the teacher gave out the word ship. It's H-I-P, ship. Well, the little boy, you know how slow they spelled back then. He was think he spelled S-H-I-T. Of course, all the big boys back and back, and all the rest of them got kicked out. Oh man, they just had a ball. When the teacher went on to explain to him, man, what a ship was. It sailed the waters and went up the rivers and hauled this and hauled that. And she said, now try it again, John, or whatever his name was. And he started out S, and then he's spelling slow, and he said About that time, his big brother back in the back held up his hand and she said, what you want, Jim? He said to teacher, you better stop him. He's gonna spell shit again. Sure as the world. Now that may be on the machine, I don't know. Yeah, that actually happened. I remember being surprised it didn't happen to Harlan. He didn't say it did, but he's the one that told it to me.
It happened to him probably, wasn't it? He probably the
He's the one that told it to me, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that big brother said, you better stop him, teacher.
He was spell shit.
Now that's probably more like what Savara looked like maybe when she taught you. This is 1935, but I don't know if you recognize her, if that anything what she looked like.
That thing's Siberia.
Yes.
I call him Siberia. You call it, what do you call
Well, I
it?
say Savara, but I don't.
It's
Siberia.
I call it.
That's a little
everybody call
dog.
her Severi.
Everybody calls her Severi.
I'll tell you about that dog.
She said that's 35.
That's 1935, just about.
Mother said to Aunt Siberia, said, let me take a picture of the little dog. I forgot the little dog, Nippers was his name.
Deanie's taking a picture.
My mother. And Aunt Siberia picked him up, and she said, that was their garage there, right behind them. That's the door to it. But anyway, she picked him up, and Mother had the film developed and brought it back and showed Aunt Siberia a picture. She said, well, Demi, I thought you just gonna get a picture of the dog. She didn't realize she's gonna have to get her picture too.
I think I got another picture of that garage.
Well.
and Savara there with it.
Well, if that was 35, that would have been a long, long time after.
After she taught you.
Yeah, because that would have had to been.
You got your wagon team down there where Grandpa come down the hall cold. And so
Well, let me find that.
it.
Well, she taught you in about 1915, 1914. Oh, Holland Cole?
Yeah, that grandpa would come down there and haul coal. See, we had four fireplaces in that old
I'd
building.
say it was about 14 or 15 when that Taylor episode came up.
Okay. That's Clarabelle and Harry and Grandpa Hackett and Grandma
Dean.
Kate. That's your mother, Dean. You say he was hauling coal?
Yeah, he drove
From
from
where?
the farm down there and hauled coal.
From where to where?
Huh?
Where did he go to get it?
Well, he went on down towards Browder a little piece and to the left, went up to Uncle Bob Reynolds.
Oh, he didn't go to Mud River Mine.
No. You
He's
can't.
carrying, hauling coal to one of the neighbors that got him a coal store.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he bring things to the teacherage? Did Grandpa Hackett bring coal to the teacherage
Oh,
or
no.
bring
No, he
food?
just brought us there to us, where we boarded the teachers. We had 4 fireplaces and 2 heaters upstairs, and Mother had a cook stove. And then they finally built a side room out there on it, and they had another stove in there.
He brought coal to use in those stoves.
Yeah.
And that was one of your rooms.
Had no fireplaces. We had, each room had a fireplace in it, coal grate.
And you stayed in one of the upstairs?
Truman May and I stayed, we stayed downstairs. We stayed first room on the right going in the front door.
Yeah.
Irma and Annabelle stayed, and then the next one is Truman and me.
Mm-hmm.
Tom stayed. Tom had a room of his own somewhere in the house.
Tom
I
who?
guess that was upstairs.
Tom who?
Tom Brad.
Bradley, he's the coach.
Okay, so all you were teaching there, and then Leonard and Demi lived in their own room. They had a room downstairs,
Yeah, they had a room.
and the kitchen was where feed everybody in the same room.
She was feeding all of us.
I mean, you know, my mother cooked. She cooked there. I counted. There was 5 of us, and usually we had about either 6, 7, sometimes 8 teachers. You know, she cooked. Well, best I remember,
She
she
did a
cooked
lot of cooking.
3 meals a
3
day.
meals a day. So she cooked your breakfast, and you go teach, and come in for lunch, and go teach some more. Or-
I don't remember where you come home for lunch
I don't
every
know
day.
about that.
I don't remember about what you done for lunch. There's one thing about it, you either, she had to fix you something or give you something, or else you didn't have any lunch. There was no place to buy any. Well,
I guess she fixed the lunch.
I think you fixed the lunches, the one that, well, we was right there at the school, and I mean, if they had a break of 10, 15 minutes, they'd come to the house and eat.
Leonard was a nice guy. He liked to treat people right, and he told the girls one time, not the girls, that's my wife, and later she's going to be my wife. And Annabelle Vincent was the first grade teacher. They had a room, first room in the front of the house. And in the wintertime, one cold day, he said, if you girls don't mind, if you ladies, I guess he called them ladies, you ladies don't mind, I'll come in and stir up your fire and put on some fresh coal. I'll knock on the door and let you know I'm coming in. And, oh yes, they'd be bad. See, it is jump up, walk on a cold floor up to the fireplace and dress, do your washing. If you did a bath in a wash pan, you had to take that and dress right in front of the fireplace.
You took your bath from a tub?
No, wash pan.
Wash pan.
Oh, kind of sponge bath? That's how
Yeah.
you, I don't know how you did things then.
Farmer used to have a story she told about that, said some woman, some of her family said, Mama or Grandma or Aunt so-and-so, you're gonna have to be a little more careful about cleaning up. You started developing a little odor. And she said, well, I wash down as far as possible and up as far as possible. And somebody said, try if possible next time. That was one of Irma's favorite stories. Try if possible.
In other words, they didn't wash out the middle part, they did that.
So Leonard knocked on the door because they might be
Yeah,
doing their bath or,
yeah. And they'd say, come on in, and he'd go in and stir up their fire and put be a bucket of coal. You cover the fire at night, put a little ashes on there and slow it down, you know, and it'd stay lie there and simmer all night. And then there'd be a fresh bucket of coal sitting there that you bring in last thing before you got in bed. And he'd put on some more coal. And Tom Brantley one day, he grew up over in Henderson, down close to Evansville.
Yeah.
And he thought he was a little higher class than some of us.
Yeah.
We were just hillbillies. And so they got fussing a little about the meals, Demy's meals, getting so much alike, you know. And he popped out his pencil one day and he's standing on the hearth and said, I'll just write next week's menu on the wall up here. The house was sealed with not plaster, but what you used to call beaver board. It was this
Paper,
thick, hard,
one about a quarter of an inch thick,
yeah.
a 3/16.
So he wrote bean, corn, potatoes for Monday. Potatoes, corn, beans, Tuesday. And he went all the way 5 days, just switching them around, make them a little different each day. And of course, he just left it up there.
he's making fun.
Yeah, he just left it up there. And of course, Demy and Leonard saw it, and they got really upset about it. And Leonard never built any more fires, because it was done in their room. He was standing on their hearth when he wrote that. They didn't, I don't know whether they inquired as to who did it or not. I guess somebody told them. But anyhow, they didn't like it. And they didn't build any more fires. And the next real bad cold spell come. Poor little me, I got sorry for the women. And I said, I have discovered that you ladies don't have any fire building done anymore. And maybe one of them had told me, I don't know. But I said, well, I'll do just exactly what Leonard did if you want to do for some of these bad days. So I got started. we'd had a good fire going in our room. I'd have all my clothes on, I'd go and stir their fire up and get it started. Someone says one day to me, he said, "You better quit that." I said, "What's wrong with that?" He said, "The first thing you know, you'll be doing that the rest of your life."
And then you married her.
Well, he was courting Annabelle at that time himself. But he didn't stir up any fires for Annabelle and Irma. I was doing the fire stirring up. But never was any more true statement made than that. I did it the rest of my life. But I wasn't courting Irma at that time.
You were.
Oh, I lived in the house with her, even took her home to Clinton one time at Thanksgiving. And very good friends, we belonged to the same church, we went to same teachers' meetings. She didn't have a car, I had a car. Everywhere she wanted to go or needed to go, I took her. And we became the best of friends. I thought I was entirely safe because she was wearing a diamond, waiting for a doctor that's off in med school somewhere.
Is that right?
So that was perfectly safe, you see, fooling around. My regular old girlfriend that was way off in the other corner of the county, she wrote me a letter one time and said, "Mr. Anderson told me that you're running around with Irma Herning a lot." Irma Herning was the name. But she said, "I guess that's all right, we're not engaged." And you know, I may have taken that the wrong way. I took it to mean, and not likely to be.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else I told it said, "Yeah, but that's not what she meant. She meant we ought to be." Next time you want to hear, you got on your knee or whatever and made your proposal.
What'd you get, buddy? Oh, you got a comic book, huh?
And I was stalking you guys. And Daddy, watch this.
Well, look at that. Well, you got to play with it?
Yeah.
But one day I discovered that diamond was gone. About the next time we were out together, I made a very modest move, just enough to hint that I was interested.
Oh.
And she didn't object.
This is when he and Irma Herning were teaching at the same time in the
Same school?
same.
Living in the same
Li-
boarding
living
house,
in the
teaching
teacher-
in the same school
Oh, yeah.
for 3 years.
For 3 years.
And never, we developed a great friendship, but neither, I'd say this advisedly, neither one of us had ever thought of such a thing as courting.
We were just friends. That's all. We never did have any trouble with that.
Somebody I told that said, you mean you hadn't thought about it. She was thinking about it all the time. But she was wearing a diamond, and I thought I was safe, fooling around with her.
Yeah.
Well, you were just you're just trying to help her be nice to her.
Hey, Joey, come
As
over
a
here, buddy.
friend.
Can you read the comic book?
Yeah, come over here. I don't want you to trip on
Well,
it.
y'all had a nice.
Yeah, Truman grew up on farm.
Let's read the
And
comic.
when you grew up on farm, the man did the work. The women stayed at the house and took care of the house. Did all the cooking, did all the washing, did all the housework, some of them even chopped head. Aunt Nanny was just a half-sister, of my dad. And just a half-sister to Aunt Mat.
Now
Aunt
that-
Mat was
now that-
5 years old when Dad was born.
Let me tell them who Aunt Nanny is there a minute.
Well, he's already...
Aunt Nanny's the one that lived at Gus that married Marion Sumner. And she had some children, but anyway, she raised the John Turner and Sarah Margaret
Okay.
and children. That's who Aunt Nanny was. She's just a little woman, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Little.
little tiny woman.
Yeah, but well, excuse me, it's about
When she got old, she looked just exactly like I remember Grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Grandma married a Hughes, had this one girl, then later married my grandfather. They had a bunch more children. Well, Aunt Matt came to my room one day when we were living there. She said, "Wilson, did I ever tell you about the worst day I ever spent at school?" I said, "No, I don't guess you did, Aunt Matt. I don't remember it." Well, she said, "Well, I had a terrible day. That was the worst day that
Joey,
anybody could
watch your
have."
foot.
And said, the way it started, said, "Your father was born." And I was just jumping up and down. I was going to have such a big time telling all the kids at school about having a new baby brother at home.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I just boiling over with happiness.
Uh-huh.
And Aunt Matt said, "Nanny, stop." Said, "Matty, stop right here. I've got to tell you something before we get to school." Said she stopped. And Aunt Nanny said, "Matty, you know we've got a new baby in our house. And if you tell that when you get to school, I will whip you on the way home." And said she sat there all day worrying about it. Will I tell it, take my whipping? Or will I not tell it and escape my whipping? But she said she nearly wore herself, said she was worn to a frazzle by the end of the day, worrying about what she was going to do. And Aunt Matt didn't tell me why Aunt Nanny was going to whip her.
Well,
But you know and I know that Aunt Nanny was 4 years older than Aunt Matt. She was 9.
yeah.
But some kids, 9, they found out where they came from.
Right.
So she knew if Aunt Matt told, we got a new baby at our house, the first thing some of those mean kids would do is say, "Matty, where'd you get him? Where'd he come from?"
Yeah.
And Aunt Matt would go, "I don't know." And then they turned to Nanny, said, "Nanny, where'd you get him?" And she didn't want to be asked. So she's going to whip Matty if she told. She went a great length telling me what a bad time she had that day. She just
Worried about it.
Goodness.
But as far as I know, they got along all right other than that.
Yeah.
That particular time. Get on the train,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to get on the train at Greenville, ride to Central City, get off the IC, get on the L&N, ride up to Penrod.
Right.
And then Marion Hunt or Bacon Gardner or somebody in the family would meet them then at Penrod and get them and all their baggage. They'd go and they'd visit Aunt Nanny and Uncle Jack or John or whatever,
Yeah.
and Marion and Evan and Isla and Eula and all of Marion Hunt's family.
Yeah.
They'd visit around up there and probably stay a week and just get filled up on that good company cooking. Be fresh roasting ears and
Yeah.
green beans, tomatoes right on the table, you know.
Yeah.
So they'd enjoy that week up there. And
Did you ever visit Aunt Matt when she lived down on in Greenville? When they lived there on Paradise Street?
yes,
Uh-huh. That big yellow house there.
you said you knew her.
I was just a little kid. I might have been same age as Joseph, I don't know. But I remember her, yeah.
Poor old Pearl,
I know where they buried.
she got
You know where
so
they buried?
she got so disturbed when Francis and Wayne tore that house down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had a sale before they sold the house down and sold. They dragged out truckloads of stuff out of closets, out of the attic,
Yeah.
and had a yard sale and sold it. And girls said, and they even sold my mother's false teeth.
Oh,
Right at that.
False teeth.
my goodness.
Yeah. Said somebody opened up a package, said somebody bought a shoebox or something, and said
That's a
buyer's choice. Said, whatever was in here you can have. And
Yeah.
they started digging into it and pulled out a bunch of little false teeth, you know. They even sold my mother's false teeth.
good, great.
This is Pearl Knight?
Huh?
Pearl Knight?
No, it was the next house down from Miss Knight's.
Oh, okay.
They lived right next door to the Knights, and we lived on the other side.
Right, right.
You
Yeah.
lived on this side of Purple and Lucian?
Uh-huh, yeah.
We
In
lived there
Ross
several years.
house, W.J. Ross's house there, set back off the street. It's a white frame house.
The little White House on the other side of the Knight house.
Do you know where T.O. Hall lived on that street?
No, sir, I remember my mother talking about him.
He was superintendent of the city schools.
He was up the street, wasn't he, on up the
Yeah,
hill?
just a little ways up the street.
Uh-huh. I never did know him.
Well, T.O. Hall, I got disturbed about something that happened at Hugheskirk one time and decided I was fixing to leave there.
Yeah.
So I went in to the superintendent and say, hey, don't you have another place somewhere where there's no vacancy where I could teach? Well, he says there's a vacancy up at Dunmore, 5th and 6th grade. I said, I'll take it. So I went to Dunmore and taught 5th and 6th grade
Huh.
and got away from Hugheskirk. Then the next year, I taught in the high school and coached basketball. And
Uh-huh.
then the next year, I was principal at Dunmore.
Hmm.
And Fanny Holland and I were the whole faculty. I taught all the math, all the English, and Fanny taught typewriting and history and something else.
Mhm.
The two of us were the whole faculty.
But what was,
And I wrote, they were beginning to build better roads and think about getting buses. See, when Cisco Hughes became superintendent, he thought there ought to be a high school in Reach for every person in Muhlenberg County. If they were ambitious enough to walk 4 or 5 miles to get there. So he scattered them all over. He built one at Bremen, one at Ennis, one at Dunmore, one at Graham.
Uh-huh.
He built scattered high schools all over the county. But then, in the middle 30s, beginning to put rock in the roads and build hard roads,
Mhm.
and they started bringing those schools back and reconsolidating them.
Oh.
And so I rode up to I had heard that was the last Dunmore was gonna operate. So I wrote to the State Department and said, what do you got on your books for Dunmore for next year? And they wrote back and said, definitely out. This is its last year.
Uh-oh.
I said, oh, I better get me another job. So I went to the superintendent, the different superintendent.
Mhm.
I said, you got a vacancy anywhere? I was beginning to court her at that time. She was still teaching Hugheskirk and I was at Dunmore.
Uh-huh.
And I was beginning to think about getting married. And yeah, he said, the English teacher at Hugheskirk has just taken another job. There's a vacancy back at Hugheskirk. When I got down there, I found out what had happened. Hilda Wood, a distant cousin, put it in that quotation marks of mine, had gone to the superintendent and said, I think you kinda teach out at one place. You ought to rotate. After you teach one place 3, 4, 5 years, you ought to move to some other place.
Huh.
She said, I've been at Ennis long enough, and I guess she had found out that Ennis probably is on their last legs too.
Uh,
But she wanted a job at Drakesboro. They had a fellow at Drakesboro, J.A. Wright, Jewel Wright. And I had had him, he had had me in high school, and he liked me in high school, and he said, if you ever go to college and get ready to teach in high school, I want you to teach for me. And though that time had come up, so I ready to go and join J.A. at Drakesboro.
yeah.
In the meantime, Hilda had worked on the superintendent. And she talked the superintendent into sending me back to Hugheskirk and letting Hilda have the Drakesboro job because she was courting the fellow that was a basketball man, big basketball. Durham, you remember Durham.
Yeah,
She was courting Durham,
yeah.
wanted to marry him. So she wanted the Drakesboro job. And so I wound up back at Dunn.
Back at Hugheskirk?
So, Hugheskirk. So Irma and I decided, well, we'll get married. We talked to the Brantleys. They had decided to eliminate this Leonard boarding house job.
Yeah, yeah.
They called it the principal's house.
Cause they got a road built in it, they had a road then.
And
Huh.
so Irma and Jewel worked this out. I would marry Irma. Jewel would marry Tom Brantley, who's the coach. And Tom is the superintendent. He could do, principal. He could do anything with the house he wanted to. He would rent half the house to me and Irma. See, the house very nicely divided into 2 halves right down the center hall.
Huh.
And so Jewel and Irma fixed it up. We'd get married, take one half the house. Tom and Jewel would get married and take the other half the house. Okay, I was down there fussing around about something and getting ready to move in with Irma. So she was, and we'd already got, Irma's mother was gonna come and live with us and keep house for us. And some kid came running into the door one and said, Mr. Wood, Mr. Wood, somebody out here in the driveway wants you. So I went out to the driveway and 2 fellas I didn't know sitting out there in a car. And one of them said, I'm T.O. Hall, I'm superintendent of Greenville Schools. This is Walter Malone, my chairman of my board. And we've got a vacancy in the English department, and we want you to come to Greenville to teach English for us. I said, I'll have to think about that a little bit. Talk to my new wife to be, I don't remember whether we married by that time or not, but anyhow.
What year was this?
It was,
What year would this be?
35.
Okay. And so the teacher,
6.
the teacher was not a teacherage anymore? They stopped using it for,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
what year they stopped using it?
Leonard and Amy moved off somewhere else.
well, we built a house right the other side of it.
Yeah.
Right the other side of the school, they had built a house when we moved in.
Okay.
See, they built the roads. They had roads to get in there now, and they didn't need the boarding house anymore.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
So
most
you were,
of the time, what we've been talking about, you couldn't use a car except in the summertime when it wasn't raining. If it wasn't raining, you could use your car. In the wintertime, you couldn't use it at all.
so you were gonna move in the house now that it wasn't a teacherage anymore. You were gonna live in half of it.
Yeah, I was gonna live in the same house. Herm was gonna live in the same house, and Tom was gonna live in the same house. He was gonna move Jewel in with him, and Herm and I were gonna get together and live in this other house, other half the house. And that kid came in. I went out to see, and they sat there and they talked me into taking a job in Greenville, and offered me about $100 a month No, not $100 a month. Let's see, I was teaching for 80, about $25 a month more than I was gonna make at Hughes Kirk.
Well, that's a lot of money then.
Yeah,
Well, how much would you have made at Hughes Kirk?
about $80.
So a little over 100 if you went to.
114 or something like that, if I went to Greenville. And so I took the job and moved to Greenville and got half of Uncle Tom's house. Ain't bad.
Oh.
Moved in with them.
Did Irma move with you? You were married, and she.
Yeah. She was teaching home economics. And they said, well, that will be no trouble. We've got teachers teaching at Hughes Kirk and living in Greenville already, driving out there every day. She can ride it out with them.
Yeah.
And she got hold of Margaret Curd. And you may have heard of the Curds. He was, Mr. Curd was in politics, had some kind of a political job.
Uh-huh.
Margaret Curd was a school teacher, and she was teaching out at Hughes Kirk, driving out there every day. So Irma went to see her and got the arrangement made. So we lived with Uncle Tom and Aunt Matt. We'd get up in the morning, I'd get breakfast while she got dressed, and we'd eat. She'd catch her ride to Hughes Kirk, and then later I'd walk up very casually up the building, go out 3 or 4 blocks,
Yeah, just right up the street.
Well,
and that was the best job I ever had. That was the sweetest job I ever had. That was the nicest job. T.O. thought he was God's gift to all grammarians. He thought he knew more grammar than anybody. And he said, I'll teach all the grammar to the juniors and seniors. You teach all the literature to the juniors and seniors. So I walked into a job, I had classes of juniors in literature, classes of seniors in literature. Didn't have to worry about grammar, composition. Let T.O. take care of that. And that's what we did for 4 years.
you taught for 4 years.
I taught nothing but literature for 4 years.
When did Leonard become the superintendent? When did he come to Greenville then?
One T.O., you mean?
No, I say, when did Leonard then come to Greenville? Or Paul, when did he come to
Howard
Greenville?
Shaver was county superintendent, I think.
I don't know when Dad started actually working in the superintendent's office there in Greenville.
Yeah, Bates was superintendent at the time I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what year Dad started working in there, but he worked at some of the schools, something all the time, all his life. That's all he ever done. He wasn't no farmer.
No.
Grandpa was a farmer, but
What? No.
and, I don't know, but see, Dad didn't finish high school until 1927.
Yeah, he went back
High
to
school, he passed the exam that they give him back there in the early 20s. If you could pass a certain exam, well, you was eligible to teach. A lot of teachers, they had a lot of teachers like that. And he
Just
taught-
about every,
Joey, you go
just
potty.
about every one of them did that. They teach a little, go back to school a little,
Yeah,
get another year on their certificate, and go back and teach again.
yeah, had to go get a little more education.
You know Isla Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Isla did that off and on. Got married, raised a big family. And you know when Isla got through college?
I don't know how old she was. She way up there, I guess.
It was after I became department head in the English department.
It was.
I ran into Isla in the hall one day. I said, what in the world are you doing here? She said, well, I'm in school. I'm finishing up my degree.
That is Cousin Marion's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ezra's
Goodness.
his sister.
What? You never did say what caused you to move from Hughes Kirk down to Dunmore. When you left
Well,
Hughes Kirk, things just
It's
weren't
not important.
not important.
And it's just, I forgot now who he was superintendent, principal at Hughes Kirk at that time. He was the ag teacher, and he was principal.
I
They
can't.
had to always make the ag teacher principal.
I can't think what it was, but I
The
went.
principal thought he ought to get a little more money than the regular teachers did. And the only people that could get a little extra money was the ag teacher. The ag teacher was subsidized by the ag department somewhere, state or federal, I don't know which. But the ag teachers made a little more money. Well, they probably made the same money per month, but they're on payroll 12 months, whereas the regular teachers is 9 months.
I know, I went to, well, me and, I
You
forgot who
remember
we went
Vincent?
to
You
Louisville.
remember Vincent? Taught ag.
Oh, yeah,
Your father,
Denzel,
your father would remember him.
Denzel Benson, wasn't it?
Denson Vincent.
Yeah. Wasn't that his name?
Yeah, he drove. He had a nice car, and
He never did have any children.
no, he took Leonard and me and Irma and Clarabelle wanted to go with us to Clarabelle to Louisville for KTA one time. And I would go up there, and Irma and Clarabelle would shop while I went to some of the meetings. And
I bet that was a sight.
on the way home,
Yeah.
Vincent hit some section of road over there about halfway between Greenville and whatever the next town is, toward Louisville. And
He tell you.
he hit a little gravel, and his car skid on a little bit on him, and he overcorrected him. And so he went down the road just like that for a little piece. You know, the back end of your car would just whip back and forth,
Mhm.
what wind rolling.
Yeah.
And when he finally got it straightened out, and everybody, and most of us had some comment to make. Now, I can
Tightened up.
I bet if he said it's curled up, my toes just curled up in my shoes.
Oh, goodness. Can we take you to get a bite to eat?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Ready
I'm
to
gonna
go
go
eat, Wilson?
set my
Yeah.
clothes up. I'm gonna